Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the JFree906 podcast and the continuation of the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch series. And tonight, Seth and I are surrounded by two wonderful, beautiful ladies, Shannon DeSalvo and Michele Stratton. Thank you all for coming tonight. Appreciate it very much. Michele, you're still on mute. I'll let you know that. Let me get rid of the music here the rest of the way. There we go. I was trying to get my Facebook reloaded, and for some reason, it's not wanting to show me. I'm going to try it again here real quick and see. I'm trying to get it up so I can see who the people are when people are talking over there.
Yeah, I liked the Ancient Aliens meme.
Yeah, you like that? I was.
I
saw that yesterday.
Giorgio tweeted that himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very funny. I feel like he had.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Uh-oh, Shannon's frozen.
Uh-oh.
Go on, Shannon.
Wow. Well, at least she doesn't have a real goofy look on her face or anything like that.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, I had to send that. Actually, Jim Calgard sent that to me, and there. I'm trying to get this up here. Hold on. Double words going on. There we go. All right, now I can see who's chatting there. April from Ohio. Hi, how you doing? All right, so yeah, and she's still frozen, so hopefully she's
in the chat though.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see. So oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, let me get that going here too. I got the banner going at the bottom. I need to put this one up. Folks, last night during the during the Beyond Skinwalker Ranch episode, we had a little issue with the chat from YouTube. We had the chat coming through from Twitch and also from Facebook. But nothing, well, it was working with YouTube for a while, and then all of a sudden it just went away, and we couldn't get it anymore. Linda kept logging out, logging back in, because she sits down there and helps us with the chat, and it was out. So, and I couldn't even see it unless she was, she kept having to log out, log back in, and she would get little bits and pieces of it. So, inquiring with all of this with StreamYard today, they said that they believe the issue was with the super chats through YouTube. And I did have a few of them last night. So I had to turn it off for tonight because we didn't want that to happen tonight. So if you wanted to do a super chat and if you wanted to help and support the show, I put up this banner here. You can use my PayPal, which is at jfreeman98665. And that's a PayPal account. If you want to help support the show, please do that instead of the super chat for tonight until they get this resolved. Because I don't want to lose the chat because that's important. I love interacting with everybody. Into a hotspot. Shannon's trying to try to use a hotspot. Okay. All right. It will shut off the whole chat for us. We don't even get to see anybody's responses from YouTube. And I don't want that to happen because that's important.
Yeah.
So, and you see the little banner going across. I'll leave it up here for a little while. Just as people log in, they don't hear this announcement at the beginning. So, yeah, I don't know exactly what happened with that. So a little bit of housekeeping. We are going to have another giveaway tonight, and this will again be the cards that we've been doing. And I'll put that picture up here real quick. These are the 5x7. They're like postcards, and they are of the Skinwalker Ranch dudes and dudettes out there at the ranch. So yeah, you've got Candace and Tom and Jim and just everybody. And these are them there. There's 4 cards. No, 5. There's 5, right, Linda? 5 cards? 5. Okay, yeah. And yeah, so they're really cool. And Linda and Jan had those made up. Oh, there's Shannon. She's back. Oh, if I can add it to the stream now. There we go. All right.
Yay.
Our power is going in and out because of a storm. So
no.
I apologize, but I'm so glad that my face froze on such a delightful picture.
You were smiling though. It was good.
You were.
It was cute.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, so we'll do that giveaway here in just a little bit. As soon as we get through the first part of which is the command center. Let's see. We got one episode left. This has been an awesome season. Don't you agree? This has been the best season yet, season 4.
I was thinking about that today before the show, and I was thinking about next week, the I guess you call it like the recap episode, right? Where they like sit in a room together and go through all the evidence. I was thinking about how much I appreciate that, because I myself was looking back on the season. I'm thinking there's so much, like I think I need time to like process it all, even doing this show and getting to talk about it with others. And like, I feel like there's so much I need to process. So I appreciate the way they always end the season. So it helps me be like, oh yeah. And you see connections that you didn't see. So this episode was awesome. Left us on a really cool cliffhanger that suggests a lot of fun thoughts. And I'm excited for next week. And this season's been so much fun. I think I said last night how like just this show and the surrounding like community and people involved with the show and the insiders, it's like really accelerated just so many things for me. So thanks to everybody.
Same.
Yeah, it's been. What do you think, Michelle? Has this been the best season yet? I mean, you probably have good reason to believe so.
Right.
Well, we really don't want to know some of my feelings about the show, but otherwise, it has been good. Yes, there's been a lot shown out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Some things that weren't shown that should have been.
Oh.
Yeah,
I bet it's surreal too, seeing like you and Jay like watching, like it's got to be crazy. Even knowing like you were there, just sitting and watching it on national TV, like I can't imagine.
Yeah, I can't either.
It's very weird. Yeah, the first when episode 7 was aired, he was in DC, so I was at home watching it by myself, going like, why? What's going on? This is so crazy.
Yeah. And he probably does not, as well as the guys on the show, they don't get any idea of what parts they're going to be airing and what parts they're not going to, they're going to snip out. And so, yeah, you're never really sure.
That would be the most frustrating part for me, because I just know like in regular film, like knowing that stuff has to hit the floor when you go to edit. But something like this specifically, I would be so frustrated because you're talking about like experiments and things, or maybe even what you're saying. And depending on how it's edited, it can be interpreted completely differently.
Yeah. Or you're giving a long explanation of something and they cut it down to one sentence.
Right.
Leave it to where certain people out there in the world can take that one sentence and tear you up about it.
Yeah.
And it's not what you said this big long explanation of why you're saying this specific thing, and they
show us this specific thing.
Yeah, context is everything, right? And if they kind of take out certain context, you can think many things with the statement. I can only imagine. Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. Or you give up 3.5 weeks of your life and you are in there for 40 minutes total of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean that happens definitely in just regular film too. There's been projects that my husband has worked on that he's gone forever, not forever, but for a very long amount of time, and you're excited, and then for whatever reason when things get edited, that's so frustrating.
I see his arm quite a few times.
Oh yeah.
There's quite a few times in multiple episodes.
Shout out to Jay's arm.
Where they're, instead of showing the whole scene, they're focused on this, and Jay's arm will be like right here. Yeah. I was like,
does he get a credit for that show?
Yeah. I hope so.
For having an arm in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You
funny.
should.
I remember that when all the people showed up, and he was in a couple of the scenes, but then, you just saw his back, or, him looking off over here at something or whatever. Yeah, it was pretty funny. But that's the thing about it too, with the ranch revelations that we get on Thursday nights, the insiders, with the insider program, we get the ranch revelations, and it's even tough for those guys in there, because they're going to come on Thursday nights, and they kind of go over the previous episode that just aired. But for them, and especially if they haven't watched it, which right now they're really busy and they don't get a chance to watch it, they have to try to remember, oh, wait a minute, what that was a year ago. so they're trying to remember what took place and when, and try to, put that all together in their head. And then at the same time, not say something that might, inflict on their NDA. Has that been aired yet? Did they show that yet? I mean,
Right.
trying to remember back a year. I remember at Phenomicon last year, they were still filming. And I think they took a few breaks out during that week of Phenomicon and came to the center there, to the actual event. And they were walking around and greeting and talking to people. And it was great to see them walking around, and you could go up and talk to Caleb or Thomas or whoever, Dragon or whoever you wanted, at Phenomicon. And they were taking a break, and they were wearing the same clothes that they would wear on the
These
show.
are real clothes.
Yeah.
They really are.
I think Thomas came a few times wearing different clothes, but yeah. So, but he was there quite a bit because of the fact that he helps run it. He helped get the whole thing started, Phenomicon. So
Really,
he's very instrumental in the whole thing. So yeah, it's tough for them too.
I think he started the Chamber of Commerce for Vernal.
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
It is so, and that's who puts it on, is the town of Vernal.
Yeah,
that's a great position for him, because when I first saw the show and went on YouTube or online and was trying to find interviews or anything like behind the scenes about it, I found interviews with Thomas, and I thought, man, this guy is so nice, and I love his enthusiasm, and like he was a lot of my questions, like he was sharing, and he seemed so open, and what a great representative to the ranch and apparently Vernal. So that's cool.
Yeah. He's really a good guy. They all are. But I've really had an opportunity with Thomas, because he's been on the show a couple of times now, and I mean, really, really a good guy. And his wife, she's awesome too. Yeah. And I was on the phone. Speaking of Phenomicon, we'll get to the episode here in just a moment, I promise, folks. I just want to say this one last thing about Phenomicon, was that I was on the phone with Bridget today too, talking with her, and going through some of the add-ons for my time out there. And I was going through them all, and I tell you what, it's like, some of the things that I'm going to be doing, like on Thursday, behind the scenes of Skinwalker Ranch dinner with the cast of Skinwalker Ranch on Thursday, ghost hunt with April Slaughter on Thursday night. You got the Voice of Believers, which is phenomenal. That is an awesome thing to go to and listen to people around a bonfire, talking about their experiences, whether it be UFO, UAPs, whatever, cryptids, whatever it may be, and hearing these people, some of very disturbing stories that you get to hear. And Jim and I and Roger were there last year at the Voice of Believers. That was really a cool thing to do. And then the rocket launch. And again, I say this every time, who doesn't want to go launch rockets with the guys, right? I mean, come on. And then a VIP dinner with Russell Accord and Dr. Maria Mayer. Just
Bigfoot.
Yeah, I know, right? And Pete Kelsey, I'm going to meet with Pete and Eric Bard. I mean,
that shirt is awesome.
Yeah, Expedition Bigfoot. That's all there. You got the UFOs and the aliens. Dinner,
awesome,
VIP dinner with Dr. Travis Taylor. Can't wait for that. Dave Schrader. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. I can't wait. And the fact that I get to go there and meet with all the insiders. And oh boy, knock the power out completely.
Oh no.
Yeah, get back when you can. All right. Yeah.
I'll text her to be safe.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, good. I'm really looking forward to any of you guys, the insiders. I guess we're going to be sitting, Shannon and I are going to be hanging out quite a bit at the insiders booth that they will have there. And if it's in the same place it was last year, for those of you that were there, you know where it's at. We're going to be hanging out there quite a bit. I'll be going live from the booth a lot. So we really hope that insiders will come by, say hi, and jump in there and jump in the seat next to me there and go live and say hi to everybody with me. Please, I really look forward to meeting you guys. And so that'll be great.
I'll see you there.
Yes. All right. Yes, that's going to be awesome. So All right, now we'll get started without Shannon. I'll leave that banner running just for a little bit longer, just so people that are logging in get the idea that the super chats are temporarily out because it causes the fact that I don't get to see the YouTube chat anymore for some reason. So we're hoping that doesn't happen tonight. It happened last night. So Miriam, yes, I want to see you there too. Yeah, Miriam and I, we met each other when we were at the McConkey Ranch tour. We got to go to that last year. That was really cool. Yeah, Jeff and I can eat tacos with the inside. Yes. Oh, man. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And we are just a little over a month away.
Yeah,
Month
time's
and a half.
flying.
Month and a half away from it. Man, I can't wait. All right. So, season 4, episode number 13, Everything in the Air All at Once was the name of this particular episode. And before we get started, I have to show this one more time, just simply because it's so awesome. There he is. I'm not going to say I told you so, but I told you so.
Yeah, in the hand.
Yeah, in the hands. Yeah, I told you so. Yeah. Not going to say it's aliens, but it's aliens. Yeah. So, we talked a little bit last night about the hearings that were going on. We won't get into that too much tonight, but man, good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
So, the episode started off last night with Senator Mike Lee of Utah coming out to the ranch. And I thought, this is really cool because it's great to see the fact that they are all not only interested, but somewhat invested in what's going on out at Skinwalker Ranch. And that means a lot to me personally, because with everything that's going on with the whole, oh, okay. All right. I was just, Michelle, that's you. You don't have any add-ons at all. Wow. Okay.
Nope. We weren't sure exactly what was going to happen and what we would be doing.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to sign up for anything. And, of course, Travis is just like, who cares? Just come hang out. Do whatever you want. I'm like, well, sure. I'll just go and do whatever I want.
Well, I think there's a certain level, certain people that will have like the carte blanche to do pretty much whatever they want. And
I think Jay has earned his +1 with you and him, Michelle.
Yeah.
Right. Like nobody's going to be like, hey, why are y'all here?
Yeah.
They're going to be like, yes, you're here.
Yes,
Maybe.
I think so.
We still aren't sure what's going to happen. So.
I can't wait to meet you guys, or meet you in person there and get to meet Jay. Hopefully I get a chance to meet Jay too. So that'll really be exciting.
We will be around.
Yeah, all right. Cool.
Don't know what he's doing, if anything.
Yeah. All right. All right. So Brandon, he's there and he gets to meet the senator, or he probably already knew the senator, Mike Lee, as he comes up to the ranch to talk with everybody. They never talked about this gentleman over here. I'm assuming, I don't know if he's an aide or of what his role is, but this gentleman that's sitting over here on the left next to Thomas, they never really talked about him. So I don't know really who he was, or I would acknowledge him on there. There's the senator. They were trying to get to the bottom of what is going on with the military craft flying over, the helicopters and stuff, and letting. She froze again. There she is.
Hey.
You're back. Okay, keep trying. You're back. Keep trying. Keep trying, Shannon.
Sorry.
If you get knocked out again, please keep trying. We love it when you're with us. All right.
Okay.
But with all the helicopters flying over, and it looks like their guys are being surveilled by the military, unmarked helicopters, the Chinooks, I forgot the name of the other helicopter that flew over, the first one that
The Black Hawk?
Yes, the Black Hawk. With those things flying over and checking things out, especially the first one, when it happened right after they shot that rocket up and actually got a look at what this anomaly is over the ranch. And then they were talking about it. And because of the voices being sent back to them, and they were hearing their own voices coming back inside and outside of the command center, that because of that, that people are listening into their conversations. So if that's happening, and then they said, when Travis said, we may be looking at the anomaly over the ranch for the very first time, and then right after that, the helicopter shows up. Now you tell me what you think. Were they being listened to? I think so. I think so, in my opinion. We don't know for sure who, though, right? So, but I'm glad to see folks like Senator Mike Lee and Deputy Reyes coming out and showing their support and trying to get to the bottom of it. I think that's a really good thing. Really appreciate that from them. And I know that the guys on the ranch probably do as well. You know, when he first came out, they were talking to him a little bit about some of the things that they had discovered, some of their exercises, what the results of some of those exercises were. And as you remember, one of them, and one of the ones that I thought was one of the most surprising to me, I think this was one of the biggest highlights of season 3, was Lucy the Orb showing up outside of Homestead 2. And then later on, the Insiders, we saw Lucy the Orb show up inside of Homestead 2. Was it
I
the
was
same
curious
orb?
just then. Did you just back named the episode Orb Lucy? So I guess we'll go with that now. I suppose it could be the same one. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, was it or wasn't it? We don't know. I guess you can't really say it was the same one, but I mean, I want to say it was because they acted very similar. And I do have a little clip, and I want to show it real quick. You know, just because I saw that they were talking about Lucy, so I had to bring up the clip that I have of Lucy, and I'm going to show you that real quick. This is, folks, and for those of you who have not seen this, I mean, this right here is okay. I'm going to play it and let you see it for yourself, and let you. Yeah, Dragon's face says it all. What the heck was that? I mean, this thing it looks like it's looking for something as it makes its way around. You know what?
I remember Travis's response to that, and he speculate it was like volleyball size.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And doesn't he have like crazy advanced degrees and to know what he's looking at when he's watching a video of an orb? That, and I agree with Shannon, where when you said Lucy the Orb, I had not made the connection that those could be the same orb.
Well, I mean, the one that showed up inside of Homestead 2, I'm sorry, hold on. The one that showed up inside of Homestead 2 was smaller, I think, than the one that was outside.
But the movement's very similar. You're right.
Very similar, yeah. I'm sorry, Michelle, what were you going to say?
Wasn't me, it was Shannon.
Oh, Shannon. Oh, okay. And she's frozen. Oh, there she is. Okay.
No, I'm not frozen. I'm just in contemplation. Same look, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how much smaller the one that we saw in the Homestead was from that, especially because of maybe force perspective. Did they ever tell us the size for the one that we saw in the Homestead?
I don't think so.
It did behave to you.
It looked like it was about softball size.
Yes.
Okay, it's smaller.
That was smaller. So just kind of based on the room and based on other objects that it was near, it, you know, maybe about that big.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting.
I mean, do y'all think like I would think that they could change in size, right? Like,
oh yeah, why not?
If they can shift through, or break laws of physics, I would imagine they can maybe move from softball size to volleyball size.
Why not? I'm just laughing because of what Jerry said here. Jerry said Lucy's has some splaining to do.
Yeah.
If any of you watch I Love Lucy, you know exactly where that's from. So us older folks, we know that. Thank you, Jerry, because I caught that right off the bat. Us older folks. But anyway, so, they were explaining some of these things. And Lucy was, the orb was one of those things where it was definitely a super find, in my opinion, because whatever this thing was, it was moving around with intent. It was not being blown around by the wind. It was not a bug. And the one that we saw, the Insider spotted inside of Homestead 2, actually moved around and then appeared to like go up right in front of the camera and stop for a moment. Yes, the ones that were filmed outside and inside were both with night vision cameras. So Yeah, if that helps you, Tanya, there with that. So they were done with night vision cameras. Yes. So, um, so, yeah. So Lucy's got some spray. Did they make it? I didn't get one of those T-shirts. Do they still have those T-shirts available? We all
They
voted
haven't.
on.
I don't think they've made the Lucy T-shirts yet.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. That I want to get that. I want to get one for sure. Let's see. All right. So
Did
and
I
then they
did I
talked about-
freeze
okay,
before you could hear my answer?
we did not get to
Yeah.
hear your answer. You started and that
Okay.
was it.
Perfect, because you guys all went black, and this is lots of fun for me tonight, guessing how
Oh,
this is going to go. They haven't put the shirts out yet.
Okay.
You didn't miss anything because they haven't been released yet.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah, Shannon, frozen with fear. Yes, I know, right?
Sorry.
Well, you're not blurry at the moment. You're nice and clear, so that's a good sign.
I'm
So,
running
yeah.
off of a cell phone internet right now, so we'll see how
Hey,
well it lasts.
Whatever you got to use, right? I'm glad you're here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. A couple of the other things that we saw, of course, was the orbs that they saw, like this one here that they showed the senator, and also the anomaly that appeared over the ranch. And there's a shot of it there, which I still think resembles a Kachina doll to me. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, with
Space Invaders, what I see.
yeah. Anyway, that was my Space Invaders thing. Yeah. So,
Oh, I like it. I'm usually the one with the hands.
Mhm.
So yeah, so they went through several different things. They were also talking about the 1.6 gigahertz,
Mhm.
and then I like how they put this misinformation about the GPS units and how it totally screws up the GPS units. I thought that was a very interesting, part to mention to him in there, because that, as you all know by now, that 1.6 gigahertz is assigned for space to Earth. In other words, satellite communications, Earth to, or I don't know, would that also be if they had like the space station, the ISS? Would that also use 1.6 gigahertz? I'm not sure. That I don't know.
Let
That's a
me
good
look it up.
question.
All right, there you go. Shannon's going to look it up on the spot. Shannon. All right.
We'll see if it
Um,
works.
So yeah, so I'm glad they went through all this with him, and he was pretty impressed with whatever he was. GPS spoofing.
Spoofing, yeah.
And and we're going to get into that a little bit deeper as we go along here, because what else uses that? So many things use that. That we know that GPS also works on time, and we also know that the drones had a little issue with that later on. We'll get to that portion of it, but. So the senator asked about any theories they have about what is going on, and the team tells him that they have nothing that tells them who is doing this. And of course, this was as of last year. We don't know how that holds true for this year yet, but we'll hopefully find out more information in season 5. But I tell you what, this season has not failed to impress me with every single episode that has taken place so far. So really good stuff. All right, let's do the giveaway real quick, and then we'll continue on with the experiments that they had going on. And again, tonight's giveaway is these 5x7 cards. I'm going to show those again here real quick. That is these. There's a set of 5 of them, and it has all the guys and stuff in the command center, what you see there. And the lovely Miss Linda is going to give us she's going to do the spin for this. And before we get to that, I will tell you real quick that how to become eligible for these giveaways. You have to be a member of our our Facebook group, which is the Curse of Oak Island and Beyond Skinwalker Ranch. A post will be put out with pictures of what the giveaway are, and then after that, you will just simply reply or post. You'll comment on the post saying yes, and it has to all be done through the Facebook group page, and then you'll be eligible, and you have to be present to win. So, all right, that's how that all works. So we're going to bring up Linda. We're going to put her in solo layout here, and we're going to spin and find out who is the ones who get to win these cards this week.
All right, this is our last one before the finale next week. And in a minute, we'll show you what that's going to be. I think we did that last week also. So hang in there.
All right, it's spinning. Susan Wall, it looks like. Is that what it was?
Yep.
Susan Wall. All right, Susan, are you here with us tonight? All right, let us know if you're here so we can.
Susan was here, so I assume she still is.
Let's see. I'm scrolling back here, but let us know if you're here, Susan. If not, we'll have to choose. We'll spin again, but let us know if you're here.
Oh, she's there. She's right there. She said, "I'm here."
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, there she is. All right. Good.
You will private message me your address. I'll get that out in the mail to you on Monday.
Cool. Congrats,
Yay,
Susan.
Thank you.
All right. Very good. And for next week, the finale. Go ahead, Linda.
Well, I was just going to say, I think Shannon has the giveaway for the finale next week.
Yeah, there it is.
Really fun.
And it glows in the dark too, right, Shannon?
It's wonderful. It's high quality. It glows in the dark. It keeps your beverage cold while still making you look cool.
I had a friend get one, and it was sitting on the counter in her kitchen, and she got up in the middle of the night to go and get something to drink, and it was glowing and scared her to death. So
That's
there you go.
very funny.
That's the best.
Yeah, I've got my alien one, and that thing is really cool too, and it glows as well. It's got a little bit different. That one says Skinwalker Ranch, and then it has the
Symbol for it. It's perfect if you're going to go nighttime sky watching and you want something with you.
Yeah.
That way you can always find it.
Yeah,
After
That's
you go
right.
run, because
After you run, you'll come back and grab it.
glowing from radiation. Yeah, John, that's exactly right. Yeah.
All right.
Glowing.
See you all.
All right. Thank you, Linda.
Bye, Linda.
All right. So
Shannon,
continuing on. What's that? Go ahead.
I was going to say, Shannon, what'd you find out about the space station?
Oh, I found out nothing because my phone's not working because of the storm.
All right.
Sorry, guys. I tried.
Hey, no worries.
Well, somebody out there in the chat, look, check that out for us. Let us know what frequency does the ISS use for communication to the ground. That'd be interesting to find out. So, all right. Oh well, yeah, you can drop down your YouTube quality. Oh well, and now I don't think she can do that in here. Yeah. All right, let's continue on. So this time, as the name of the show says, everything in the air all at once. And as the guys are preparing, after they got done with Senator Mike Lee, we then have all of the vehicles showing up. And this is a culmination of many of the exercises that they have done this season so far. We're talking about the guys from Omnitech to help with the experiment. Or the team is using information gathered by Omnitech to help with the experiment. You got lock precision, launching multiple rockets at increasing power levels into the anomalous zone. You also have Sky Elements. Those are the guys with the awesome drones. And then you've got New Salt Laser, which is coming out there with the what do you call this? The giant space cannons, laser space cannons. Yes, I know. Who doesn't love those? And so, yeah, they're going to really go all out to try to find out what's going on. So you got lasers with the sending the signal of the sound of the drums from Blazing Bear embedded in it, and all of that. So, there we go. 145 megahertz. Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay. Depending on orbital position. A lurker, you seem to get an awful lot of questions asked. The Ranch Revelations. I don't know. You just got a very good set of questions that you're asking every week. And
yeah, you're right, Jeff. I do hear a lot of questions from A lurker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
Brandon,
Good job, Lurker.
Brandon mentioned that again last night. He said it's his Aussie charm. Yeah, Brandon caught on to your name right away again last night. He said, "Hey, Lurker." He's getting familiar with you.
Yeah.
You chatting. So that's really cool. So they're bringing all these things together. They're going to do them all at once. And some people keep asking, why do they keep shooting rockets? Well, when you find something that works, you want to keep using it a little bit. Not to say that you don't want to try new things, which they have tried new things.
Oh yeah.
But you want to try something that works. And it seems like every time they start shooting rockets up through the anomalous zone above the ranch, they get some sort of activity, UAP activity or something happening. So I think that's, why not?
Would we have seen the blob without the rocket?
I don't think so.
I mean, maybe eventually, but I mean, that seemed to me that the rocket, and I think Travis even said it, where it's like, every time we do it, we're getting a response, or maybe not every time, but a lot of, there's consistency to it. So let's ramp it up and do all the rockets.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, because
this last one, it was just like everything.
Yeah, I was one that was like, oh my goodness, rockets seem scary because, but now I'm on board where I'm like, rockets all the way. Let's do rockets. Let's do lasers. Let's do sound.
Literally everything all at once.
Hit them with everything all at once and see what happens.
Everything in the air all at once is literally the title of the episode, so it's very, very fitting.
Snap.
Yes, exactly. Hit them with it all, and see what happens. Because,
that's right.
Like I said, this was to pull out all stops to try to get something. As you folks know, they already have proven there's some kind of anomaly happening somewhere between 30 feet and a mile high above the ranch. They've already proven there's something weird going on there. They've seen it on multiple different experiments using multiple different means in these experiments. So we know there's something there. Now they're trying to find out what's the best way to detect it, and see what's going on and find out, and stimulate that activity so that they can get closer and closer to being able to figure out how to actually detect it and know it's, and then they can go to other places and find them in other spots as well. So then, as you know, with the Beyond Skinwalker Ranch guys, that's exactly what they're doing. They're going around and using some of these same experiments and trying to see what they can come up with elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So this was, their last hurrah for the season. So pull out all the stops, get everything up in the air all at once.
Yeah, it's like they combined everything that got a result this season with the rockets, lasers, Blazing Bear transmitting that. Yes.
I loved the confidence. Cool. I loved the confidence that Travis had when he was like, "Maybe we're gonna figure it out tonight."
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you will. I haven't heard him say that before in any of the previous seasons. So I was like, oh, what they got happening now? If he's sitting there saying that maybe they're going to discover it.
Yep.
It does seem like it's within their grasp, right? Like finally nailing down where this thing is, what it is. And I think with the combination of AI and like whatever Omnitech can do, I'm really excited to see next season. Have they said there's a next season? Right? They've said it, right? Well, if there's a next season, I'm really excited to see what that interaction looks like.
Right. Well, they're filming.
The ranch.
So they are filming. So we hope that means, yes, that there's going to be a season 5. Doesn't always, but as we found out through Expedition Bigfoot, you don't know for sure until it's finally announced. But yeah, I got a pretty good bet that there's going to be a season 5. I mean, you can almost put money on that one. I would. But anyway, so I brought this up here. Jim Royston from the CEO from Omnitech, when he was there on the last show, and he did the Lidar, and then they came up with this spot above the triangle of the ranch. This in this circle here. Then they had, I think they had Thomas go out with a marker in a measuring a wheel, that measures the feet or whatever. And he went around and they marked out exactly where this black circle is here in the grass for them because they wanted to nail down exactly where. you know, where all this was. And there it is. There's a shot of him doing that there, or wrapping that up. So they wanted to find out exactly where that circle is, so they knew where to set things up for this all-out experiment that they're doing now. So, so as we go along with this, and he gave them a lot of details, and of course we ended up seeing what they thought. They put this together looking like some sort of a wormhole. Then we saw the images from the helicopter last week with the GoPro that was attached to the helicopter, and we saw that orb that went down and looked like it disappeared into the mesa, and then appeared. Now I was on a little bit of I was going to say disagreement, because they were saying it looked like it came out of the mesa, and I was showing that it looked to me like it actually appeared and materialized in this spot. And the made it look like it was coming out of the mesa, when I personally think, and again, I say this without having all the tech that Eric has, but it looked to me like it actually came out of this area right here. It materialized out of this area over the triangle, rather than or the east field. So go ahead, please.
Yeah, and given the context of the episode, like, you know, with Cameron saying, you know, I think these things were actually stationary, I feel like you were I thought you had a really good hunch, and I appreciated you saying, like, hey, let's look at this closer, because I didn't pick up on that. I thought, oh, it's moving. And once you said, you know, could this be stationary, it presented another possibility to me, and I thought that was great. And like you said, we're only working with what we got from this one angle,
right?
You know, put on TV.
Exactly.
But it was a good point.
Yep. You know, and that's what it looked to me, and I watched it. Believe me, when I was putting that little video clip together, I watched it so many times, and I'm looking for that movement, and I'm not seeing it. It looked to me like it was stationary, and the helicopter was flying past it. So anyway, that's why I come up with that. So, yeah, yeah, the #1 show on the History Channel. It's safe bet to assume, there'll be a season 5. Yeah, they would be pretty well not smart to not do it. So going through the list of the guys that were there, you got Preston from Sky Elements. These guys, I just love what they do. Dave and Alan from Lock Precision, and then you got Tyler from Sky Elements also. And then the guys that are bringing out these the laser space cannons, New Salt Laser. And they're also bringing out the lasers that we saw being used over multiple seasons here, but also with the Beyond Skinwalker Ranch guys. They also used the New Salt Laser and also transmitted the rabbi chant, I think, through them as well. And that, if I remember that correctly. So yeah, you can see these things from space, these cannons. I just, man, I would love to see these myself.
That's why they call them space cannons.
Yes, exactly.
Great point, Michelle. Yeah.
Excellent naming.
I always see stuff like this. I'm like, what do the neighbors think
Exactly.
they are up to when
That's
they
the
see
same.
stuff like this in the sky?
They just shake their heads and go, "Oh,
yeah,
those neighbors again."
And then they see the rockets and then the drones, and they're like, oh my gosh.
And the helicopters flying
and
over.
The helicopters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So here's some more of the experiments. So they're going to, you know, again, this is an artist rendition of it all, you know, because the lasers didn't quite work that way. The space cannons did, but not the other ones. Here they are gathering up, getting everything ready. And of course, that's right there at the triangle. And this area, the black area, is this area right here. This is that blacked out area. It was right here. Because I remember taking that one angle. I looked at it and I flipped the map around, or the picture around, and it was actually like the eye on the top of the pyramid of the $1 bill. Remember, you got the pyramid, the triangle with the eye, the all-seeing eye above it. That's what it looked like, because it was right on the top of the triangle. So yeah,
on the mesa there, that black box, is that where they were shooting it off from the top of the mesa? Kind of where because they're shooting up last episode. Do you see that black box on top of the mesa? Is that just my screen?
Oh
no, I see the black box on top of the mesa. I thought maybe that was Wally, but maybe that is where they were. I think that might be them in the wrong place for it to be Wally. That must be them.
That's
Where
where
they're
they
shooting the
shot
rockets.
the rockets, the
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
horizontal rockets.
Yeah, I didn't notice watching it in the show, but just now looking at this
Yeah, good
screenshot you
catch.
grabbed, I'm thinking, what is that black thing on the mesa? But where it lines up, yeah.
There's
Thanks,
a tower
Greg.
right here behind it. There's a tower.
It
right
almost
here.
looks like they put.
It's one of the camera towers.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know what this black rectangle is. I'm not sure. I've not seen that before.
I thought when I was looking at it originally that it was Wally, you know, the little thing that they've got on the mesa.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it anywhere else.
Yeah, good point. It might be.
So
Yep.
it might be. They may have been in the same area. I don't know though. That's literally just that's just a guess. I'm like 80% sure. I'd have to compare it to like maps and things.
Yeah, rocket launchers. Yeah, I think
rocket launch.
Like Michelle was saying, yeah, when they were launching. Sorry to point that out, guys. You see something. Wait, what's that?
No, I know. Good catch because I'm used to the one catching those types of things. Go ahead.
This shot looks so freaking cool, guys. Like this looks like it could be from like the. I feel like I'm watching. It takes me back to watching
Close Encounters
Contact movie. Yeah, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Like
that's what I thought when I read this.
Yeah, the cinematography and just the scale has been really good at showing us the scale of these experiments.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at that field. Look at the scale of the size of them standing there with how many drones there are. I really loved how Travis was laying on the ground. That's exactly what I would have done. They all started flying out.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little concerned because he's like, these might malfunction, but I'm just gonna lay right underneath them. If this is how I go, this is how I go. I mean, I don't know. It seems like a good idea if you were literally any other place. Like I would definitely enjoy laying on the ground, watching the drone show, unless you're at the ranch and you know that the drones have been dropping.
Yeah,
then I don't know. Tempting fate, I guess, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Watching the lasers though and the drones though, every time I see drones in formation like that, I think to myself like how it's next to impossible now to discern whether or not something is like a UFO or just like the amount of amazing things that drones can be programmed to do. Every single time I see them, I'm like, we will never catch a UFO. That's pretty much a feeling on it. So it's always really like you almost can't believe that it's real. At least for me, when I see the lasers and the bright colors and everything, it's hard to imagine what it looks like in person because it almost looks like it could be easily CGI'd or something, which obviously it's not, but it's so vibrant.
Yeah, I feel you. It's beautiful and captivating, but it also scares you just a little bit to think of, okay, well, it wouldn't take much then to trick me with this sort of stuff. It's like when you see those deep fake videos where they've CGI'd people, or even mainstream movies now where they make people look 50 years younger, and you're thinking like, I could. I forget what it's called, but it's like humans, we kind of have this inherent instinct in us to kind of like have a fear response to something that acts human, looks human, but isn't quite human. And I get that feeling sometimes watching those videos.
It's probably a good thing that we have that.
Oh, yeah.
I would say. But yeah, I think that you're right. It makes things really complicated. And I think that's also one of the complications of just having a show of this nature is because of that. Because in the time that we live, people know that things can be faked. People know that things can be cheated. They know that CGI can happen. And I think it's even harder to believe because everybody's got the ability to edit and all that stuff at their fingertips. What are you saying? You say I look like Princess Leia from Star Wars. Excellent. I lost my headphones, so I am having an awesome evening. These are my other headphones.
You got the cinnamon bun. You got to do the cinnamon bun.
I need to get little covers for them, perhaps, to make it look like buns. It's because my hair is black, I guess. It matches. But yeah, I agree. I think it's.
Yeah,
drones can be programmed for anything. Yes, and with AI,
AI coming out. Yeah, it's really crazy with what people can do. And it honestly, it does. It really kind of bothers me. It scares me a little bit as to what can be done with all of this stuff and where we're going from here. So I think we have to be very careful.
It's a double-edged sword. Like there's a lot of benefits and there's a lot of risks, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I agree. And I think as somebody who maybe a year and a half ago, if I had had this conversation, I probably would have been like, it's a TV show, so I don't really know. But I think one of the best factors for myself, at least when trying to discern information, is like who's saying these things to me. And I think the privilege of being able to sort of be exposed to the guides and the team and their personalities and sort of how they operate and how they treat people, honestly, is has helped me put a lot of trust into them from just like a personal standpoint, so that when I'm hearing these things and they're saying these things, I don't have that question in my mind that I would have had maybe a year and a half ago as somebody who wasn't involved and all of that. I think it says the team is so generous with themselves and their time and their conversations and with answering questions on in every place, not just the insiders, but
right.
And I think people that don't have anything to hide are the types of individuals that do that, but they want to share information, and whether or not people believe it is an entirely different thing. But I think that's what it comes down to when you start to see these crazy things. It's like, oh, well, who's telling me this? Is this someone that I can trust?
Right. Exactly. And you know what? And that's one of the things, because there's a lot of people out there that say, make different comments about, what the guys are doing and why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? Had they checked this? Had they checked all that? These are things that they did, more than likely did, and we just don't know because they didn't put it into the show. They got 42 minutes worth of airtime to fill in hours and hours and hours and hours worth of video that they took. A lot of that doesn't make the cut. So when you're questioning these things, this is one of the, and I'm going to say it again about being an insider. These are one of the things we get as being an insider. You get these details. A lot of times they'll tell us, yes, we did check this. Yes, we did check that. Yes, we double checked on this. And you just don't get that, from the show. So, and I think that's great. These guys are doing the best they can to be transparent and do all of their checks and balances for everything. And it's just one of those things. But I do trust their integrity.
I do too.
Wholeheartedly. I really do. And I think they're doing the best they can with the budget they have. And I think they're doing a fantastic job, quite honestly. And that's why I'm talking about it. That's why I am a fan of the show. And I'm a fan of the team out there and what they're doing. So,
I agree.
Yeah. So, and you look at this, let's go back to the launching of the rockets, because that was kind of the first thing that they got a chance to do. And right off the bat, they had six? Was it on the first one? They had 6 rockets.
Well, they were
all hooked up on the same wire.
And they went with the rockets because the drones weren't ready yet, right? Like, weren't they supposed to do drones first?
I think so. I think the drones were supposed to go up first.
Yeah, and they were like, hey, we got to reset the whole system because it's Skinwalker Ranch. And so, then they're like, all right, well, the rockets are ready. And they started doing this. And of course, the rockets went off without a hitch, right, guys?
Yeah. Well, my notes say lasers up, launch 6 rockets, wait, drone malfunction interference issue. 1 launch, then 2, 1 stayed, all on a single circuit.
Right.
Yeah. How do you explain that? We can't, I guess. Because they were all supposed to go off at the same time, right, guys?
Yeah, they were all 6 were supposed to launch at exactly. That's why they were on the same wire. So you push one button and all of them go up, and yet that's not what happened at all. So 1 launched, and then 2, like Michele just said, it was just a mismatch of firings and everything. And then you go back to Sky Elements and the drones. Now we know that one of the things about the drones, they had a connectivity issue, but they were also having a GPS issue, as we saw as well. Now GPSs are, all whacked out on the ranch, but they also had a connectivity issue. So what was causing all of that? Some kind of an interference or something going on. But
Yeah.
they had to bring them down and reboot. They were just having it. And and as you heard Caleb say, it's the same thing that happened last time they were here.
Yeah. And they
Brought their
each
best
operate,
stuff.
they each operate on their own GPS, their own Wi-Fi. So it's not like you can interfere with the system and they're all messed up. It's like they'd have to, each one malfunctioning is its own GPS unit.
Mhm.
Yeah, and again, like I think it's such a, like kind of what Michele was saying of like who's saying this and why, like with the drones, right? Where when after the first episode where they were on, I look them up because I'm like, oh, the drone show, cool. Like what in what context or like how did these drones look when everything goes off without a hitch? So I find them on YouTube. They look amazing, and they're performing these light shows in stadiums at at baseball games, football fields, and huge city events like where thousands of people are watching, and a single drone moving, much less whole system shutting down and taking minutes to reboot, that wouldn't be allowed. So it really shows that like what these guys are experiencing is so far out of the norm for them. And Michele, what were you going to say while I was rambling?
I was going to ask if Shannon's okay.
Yeah, Shannon's around the room there, and I was like, what is going on?
Well, my husband's over here, and he pointed at the window, which I just looked out of, and our sky is like a very scary pink, purple, like it's like storm, like is there a tornado coming kind of color. It's not a good. That's a very ominous look out the window right now.
Yeah,
he is right now. That's just a very. That's not a great color for the sky to be. Sorry to distract. I should turn my camera off.
I saw you looking around.
We'll figure it out. Just make sure you stay connected so that we can watch.
Yes.
Go flying around.
You'll just see me grab the cat and run with the laptop.
Yeah. Just stay connected. That's all. Don't worry about the rest of it. The show must go on, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Just like Thomas last night, taking the laptop out onto the
that didn't go so well.
That'll be me.
Yeah, that was so funny because on Ranch Revelations, that Brandon was flying in, and they heard the helicopter, and so and that Thomas is like, "Oh, should I show him that Brandon coming in?" So he grabs the laptop and he's running through the command center with it, and of course it was losing connection and everything as he was running outside. That was great, and what a great moment that was. Truly, you guys miss out if you're not insiders. You truly miss out on all that fun. But all right, so they immediately have issue with the drones. They can't even get them off the ground. Then they go to launch the rockets. One goes up, and and then two, and one I guess was still left on the pad at the end. So they did get 5 up eventually, and then one was left on the pad. And I was a little worried when I saw this, the first one that went off, and it took off like this, very reminiscent of the one that crashed into the anomaly and ended up falling on the ground and never made it very far. But it had that same kind of all the sparks and everything coming out of it. So I was a little concerned when I saw this one going up, because they don't normally make such a light show as they go up, as this one did. And then the first anomaly shows up, the first UAP. And right after that, so this is found on the FLIR. And I remember during the episode, Travis asked the question about it being hot or Thomas asked Travis about whether or not it was hot or cold. And Travis got a whole, he yelled over to Eric, and Eric said white hot. So the little dot you see there is white hot. So it was hotter than the surrounding air. Now, these guys on the early, not on this particular one, but on a later one that they saw, they actually went out and tried to see it because they're thinking if it's white hot, compared to the surrounding air. Now, white hot could just be a few degrees warmer, because of the way it looks at these things. We talked about that last night in that one house. There was only a 7-degree temperature change between what was showing up as red and what was showing up as blue. And, so it's just that much of a difference between the surrounding. But this one showing up a nice little dot showing up there means it's a lot warmer than the surrounding air. So you would think with that you would be able to see it if it's going to be, lighten up like that, but yet they could not see it with the naked eye. They could only see it on the FLIR.
What does that mean? If it's that hot, if you were to walk right into it, would it burn you?
I don't know. I honestly
Or would
don't
you just
know.
be like, it's suddenly hot right here? Like that seems.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's and I do have a little clip of this too, this one here, but I would think dusk to dawn experiment. I don't know. No, it was basically all done at night. Yeah, it was basically done at night. So I'm sorry, I was reading some of the chat going on there, but yeah, the experiment was all done at nighttime. So I don't know about dusk to dawn. If they were up it was like 2:00 in the morning. I know when they were still shooting rockets.
Yeah.
So dawn was coming, but yeah, I don't know how long they stayed up, but
Yeah, it did make me wonder, like what a bird, what a bat looks like on a FLIR camera. Is this that much hotter than what a mammal or something else would appear as? But as far as like its movement, I've never watched a bird or a bat through a FLIR camera, but I've watched them through binoculars, and they don't move like that. That's part of birding, right? You get really good at knowing those subtle little movements that different species of birds make. That I don't think it was a bird looking at that, but I've never watched a bird through a FLIR. Might have to look that up now.
I think you would have to still see some sort of movement.
Yeah, I feel like I've learned to see even just like the slightest bit of wing flap at this point because of watching all of the live stream videos and like slowing them down
And
to like
seen
even if yes I have. They're bored into my brain. You see even just like a little bit of it, like even if it's just a slight amount, and we often will see it whether or not it's a bird or a bug. Like if there's any type of movement at all, even if it's blurry and you cannot see wings, you can still see kind of like where that movement is.
Whoa, what are we looking at? Fireflies or
Birds.
Oh,
you can see the flapping
Birds on
wings.
FLIR.
Yeah. Whoa, that's so cool. What is this, Michele?
That's really neat.
That's super cool.
It's on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah, show that again. Back that up and show. I'm going to put you in solo layout for a second so everybody can see that bigger. All right, let me get you in solo layout here. There we go.
Oh yeah.
You can see the matter of fact, you can even see the temperature difference in their wings.
Wow, yeah, you really can.
Like the bone structure or something in the wing itself. So you can definitely see movement there.
Well, I imagine like the temperature of the wings changes as the air moves through it and stuff, right?
You're right, Jim. That's pretty trippy right there for sure.
That's very cool.
Oh, and Renee in the chat said she looked up bats and they're white surrounded by red, and you can see their wings as well.
Yeah.
Right.
There it is. Yeah. Very cool.
Okay. Now let me show this, which is the actual clip of the anomaly that they saw. And tell me if you see any flapping going on in this.
No, and also we don't see any variation in temperature.
No.
Which with the birds we see, and Renee just said with the bats too. So it's just one color.
Yep, exactly. And it's moving a lot faster. It's moving very fast. Now, granted, we don't know just how far away it is from the good point, Jim. We don't know exactly how far away it is from the camera, but so yeah.
Those
No
birds were
flapping
cool.
and moving a lot quicker. Exactly. Now, I think what I don't know if that was in slow-mo, Michelle, what you were showing. It kind of seemed like it was in slow-mo a little bit there, but
Yeah, I would think so.
a little bit.
It
But still.
says flock of birds in flight, FLIR high-speed thermal camera.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Cool.
That's the description. Okay.
And my dogs just ran in and then ran out.
How's that sky looking? Still the same? What was
No,
that?
I don't
Was that a
know.
siren going off, was it?
I don't know. It's chaos here today.
I just heard a siren somewhere.
I'm surprised you guys haven't been hearing the thunder booming in the house.
No.
Yeah, we had a tree branch at the beginning when my internet went out, broke and hit the side of the house behind me. So, anyways, yeah, Jeff, you're in the dark now.
Wow. Yeah, I guess turn the light on.
Oh,
Somebody can help me turn the light on. So, all right.
Sweet puffer.
That was green.
Yeah. Well, you can see me. Oh, I kind of look like a floating head, don't I? Okay. Well, All right. So, all
Come
right.
into the light, Jeff.
Come into the light. Come into the light. All right. So let's get back to this. I'll tell you what. And again, this is all these things are going on. They finally get the drones all matched up, and at least most of them. There's 250 of them that was brought, and they're having trouble even getting 240 of them together. They finally do. And when they get ready to launch, I mean, to me, that I just love this. Watching these take off. And like you said earlier,
cool.
Seth, you were talking about the shows that they put on. And after they were on Skinwalker Ranch previously, I went out and I looked at some of these. And I tell you what, man, it's so cool. And how they all work on GPS, of course, which we know does not work well on the ranch. But the way that they were like Mario Brothers, Mario, they were making him walk.
Yeah.
The drones were, and it's like, how in the world? It blows my mind how these things can do that. They fly around and make those. But,
yeah. They're based here in Texas, up in Dallas, and they did a thing in Austin where they put I think it was New Year's or something, but they had a giant countdown in the sky where they were cycling out drones. So it was just doing a countdown for a couple hours. And when the countdown ended, it was a QR code in the sky. So if you were anywhere that you could see this QR code in the sky, you put your phone up and scan the QR code, and it took them to a video, never gonna give you up, never gonna turn. So they pretty much rickrolled the entire city of Austin.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So they are forever one of my favorite groups of people ever.
I'm going to use that as a great example as to back up the fact that the loss of drones is not typical for them, because you imagine
not at all.
losing even just like a couple in a QR code, it's not going to work at all. Like you have to have every element of it for it to work.
Yeah, look up drones. If you look up drones Rickroll Austin, that's them. They've done
amazing.
a lot of that was one of my favorite things I saw that they did. But they did a thing with Super Mario when the new movie came out recently, where Bowser's shooting fire, Mario's like jumping up and hitting the block. It's you do not see any of the behavior of any sort of erratic movement. They are locked on, much like Lock Precision. But yeah, really cool stuff. I'm a fan of theirs.
I'm amazed by that. What's that?
Way to bring that back to the rock.
Right. Yeah.
Full circle.
Yeah. Yeah. So and right off the bat, of course, the guys when they're having an issue with when you finally get them up there, they're having an issue with one of them, and it's being rogue. It finally gets itself into its place, and then they have another one that's acting really weird. And again, I've got a little video I'd like to share on that as well. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull this back up here. Let's see here. close that because this is so interesting. Let's see if I can get to the right spot here. Oh yeah, that let's see. Hold on, bear with me a moment. All right, I think this is it here. Okay, bring this back over. All right. And I think that if I got this set up right, yeah, here we go. And this is as they take off.
That's so cool.
As they're going up, yeah, and it continues here in just a second. But you know how they have to bring them up in sections. There's the one that was rogue, and it kind of locked itself into place. And then you got this one that's just not wanting to cooperate. It's just like,
my notes on that one is one guy getting jiggy with it back and forth. Approximately
that's
300
awesome.
feet above
That's
the
cool.
triangle.
Yeah, he was definitely getting jiggy.
Oh
with
my
it.
gosh. What
You
a
know,
reference.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey, I was tired.
No, it was perfect. That's perfect.
it is. It is. But again, it was trying to. You know, you talk about the GPS, and the GPS, as we well know, even when Jay was there, the GPS is not accurate on the ranch, and even the altimeter with things going on in the helicopter, and they had something flying underneath them, and I mean, just so many things with the GPS not working correctly. And then the time anomaly, even a quarter of a second is going to screw up a GPS immediately.
Jay's GPS thing was, have we ever seen, I'm going to call it the GPS misinformation used to send a message the way it did to Jay with the shape of
Jay.
Yeah. Right. Like, I mean, Michele,
No.
if that was me and I'm putting myself in your feet or, you know, in your shoes, feet, I'm so dumb. If I'm in your shoes, I would,
or your feet, both.
Or your feet, yeah. Seeing that, I would have gotten goosebumps. I would have known right away, like, oh, hello, ranch or whatever you are. Am I asking too much if I ask like kind of what your response to seeing that was?
Well, I had heard something about it.
Did he? So he knew like it was coming.
Well, he knew that was because he, you know,
yeah,
he sat right here when they played that.
It was right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
With that guitar hanging on the wall behind you.
With that amazing guitar behind
That's
her.
Amazing guitar.
There's the gift from our friend,
Yes.
a certain person who plays guitar.
And believes in UFOs.
And we have our Texas, a big Texas map, and then we have
nice.
there it is, our Alabama flag.
Yep.
But he had said something about it when he first got the results, and he was just like, "Holy cow!" And so, you know, by the time we actually got to see it, I had forgotten, and it was it was different. I was like, "Yep, it feels like it definitely knew him and was saying hello."
Yeah, we've never seen, I mean, we've seen the GPS data go all over the place. There's been some little interesting synchronicities maybe where like Travis has pointed out like the mileage, you know, oh, it's underground the same. Yeah, like that was interesting, but we've never seen something that in your face, in my opinion. It was,
I feel like
I see why they were, sorry, Shannon, go ahead.
No, I was cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, I was saying I see why they wanted to do that experiment of like, you know, this person provokes a response from the ranch. Let's see if we can document it, and boy, did they.
Yeah.
I would like.
Go ahead, Shannon.
No, go ahead, Michele. It's okay.
There were other things that they did. I can't be specific, but there were other things they did with him out there that were creepy. That the response from the ranch was creepy. But they didn't show it. So I don't know. Maybe it was too creepy and people would have been like, nah, there's no way. But
not us.
No, there Yeah, there. I mean, this is one of those places and stories that there are a lot of creepy aspects of it, and I know you've experienced it. And I hope that you and Jay get some sort of like, I don't know if closure is the right word, but like just like or validation. But I hope you're gaining something from this experience of sharing your story with us, and I hope you recognize that we are so appreciative of Jay and you. Yeah, like. It's easy to like read about these things and think, oh, that's so crazy. But like this happened to people, like real people. You and your husband are just normal people. And
Oh,
I mean, I don't know as much as all the people in the room are normal people here, but you know what I mean? Like I hope that you're getting something from this. And I hope that you feel the love and respect from us to you and your family. And I hope that it can, you know, we're stronger together and we're all here with you. And I appreciate you being so open with us.
Yeah, for the most part, it's great. Most people are good. So that's
true.
You know, that's where we can leave that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so
I do have to wonder if part of the reason maybe they didn't show the creepy stuff is that, again, it's television. So it's like, make this believable, right? Like it has to be able to cater to people being able to understand it, but also maybe, like you said, maybe they wouldn't believe it if they showed some of the creepier stuff. Like they didn't know how to present it. I don't know. I was going to ask, and now it feels really inappropriate to do so. When we were sort of laughing before it got serious, I was going to be like, have you ever tried to map stuff similarly around like your home, like around him at home? Like, does it, I mean, I think it's pretty much, you've talked about it a little bit. But like, that would be very interesting. We've not joked, haha, but we've talked about previously how it would be interesting to see how Jay reacts in other like odd hot spots to see if it's one of those things or if it's just the ranch. But maybe that's a little, maybe that's too much. It's my curiosity though, because you do wonder.
yeah.
It's really just isolated to the location of the ranch, or if like some of these anomalies, like even just GPS anomalies, can be mapped kind of around him.
Yeah, I don't know if that's something that he's ever thought about doing. I will say that he's pretty open about how this actually is not a topic that he's a fan of. So I mean, this was work for him.
Yeah,
right. That makes sense.
His job. He was given tasks to do things, and you know, it just happened to be things that other people, you know, like to do for fun.
Maybe pop an air tag on him and see if it looks like he's floating in the sky or below the ground on a cake. That's all I'm throwing out there.
I might do that.
Just in the back pocket.
Don't tell him. Just share the results with us.
Just tell him.
Make him a guinea pig like Travis did.
That's right. Were you in an underground cave earlier today? Because it shows that you were. That's all I'm saying.
That comment, the comment is interesting to me about how, like, you know, this was his job, right? Not like his passion project or something. He's like doing podcasts about this is work to him, and it makes me, it kind of reminds me of Travis, right? Like when he got on the ranch, he was not interested in, like, I mean, he'd heard the stories, but in his mind, he's like, I'm going on the ranch to do a job. I've got a job to do.
Right.
There's probably nothing. And the ranch, as we all know, Thomas provokes strong reactions from the ranch. So I guess that comment about your husband reminded me about Thomas too, where I'm like, same type of just there to do a job. And I guess whatever it is about the ranch is, you know, it's kind of senses that about them. And it's like, hey, I'm here, or I don't know. I mean, it seemed like that's what happened with Thomas.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned it. You mentioned it last week how it happened with Bryant, you know, Dragon, because he had said, you know, nothing ever happens around him, but yet he saw that one last week, did he not? And he, So even he is now being affected by, I mean, because nothing ever happened around him. It was like, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Sooner or later, it's going to get you.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad he was in that position, and I think I think everything happens for a reason. But I feel like Jay was put in this position for a reason, and
yeah, definitely showed us something. I mean, that episode really revealed so much. Again, we've seen what the helicopter was shown being, several miles underground and all of that, and then Jay's experience where it showed the vehicle he was traveling in several miles underground or whatever, a lot of feet underground. Just weird stuff. So we know that the GPSs are all screwed up there. What is causing it? We think that, I agree with them. I think the anomaly is causing it, whatever the anomaly is. I think it is causing it. And obviously it affects the drones as well. Anything that's using the GPS. And that time anomaly too, so interesting stuff for sure. And the fact that, and the battery drain. That's
yeah,
the other thing is the battery drain.
yeah,
The guys talked about that quite a bit. Go ahead, Seth.
Oh, I was going to say these drone shows, all their shows have like a pretty short time limit, right? Where they can
5 minutes.
they can do
They got
like
about five and a half minutes.
right. So they're very well aware of like how long each battery should last, and they were saying that like half of the drones experience just full battery drainage. And again, what did they say? This has happened nowhere else but here.
Yep.
Right. Yes. Nowhere else but here. He goes, we go to arenas, where there's all kinds of signals flying around in a big city where, there's thousands of signals and frequencies flying around and all kinds of weird stuff going on. And then you get out here to the ranch and it's like every time they come out here, they have issues. Battery drain. I mean, that's another one of those things. And we talked, and I mentioned that whole thing with the battery drain. Why does that happen? Why? Because they're supposed to get 5 minutes. And some of those, when they launched them, I think there was one point that they said they were at 89% or 88% battery on all of them. And yet right after they took off the batteries on those 10, immediately, they lost battery power. Is that what your notes said?
That was the final one where they were doing everything all together.
Yep.
And they said that the lowest battery on one of them was 83%. And then 10 drones, their batteries went fail safe and returned to home right away. They launched, they went fail safe and came back.
Yep.
Which means fail safe is where the battery is completely drained, except enough to get it safely back to home.
Exactly. Yep.
And there was no winds, no high temperature thing that could because I think last time they were saying high heat could do that sometimes, maybe like extreme temperatures.
Coat. It was freezing out there. It was 6 degrees. It was 6 degrees.
Oh wow.
Wow. Okay. Wow, 6 degrees. Yeah, you heard Travis say something earlier about going to get a coat. Yeah, I'm going to change clothes, get ready because it's going to get cold real soon. He knows.
Wasn't this so this might have been in the early fall. I'm guessing that's when they shot this part. Yeah, because I know that they filmed to like early fall. So that's wow. 6 degrees.
And I remember even at Phenomicon daytime when I was at Phenomicon and I was out there in the fifth wheel, and during the day it was hotter than heck, but at night, I would open up the windows and up there in the bedroom and then turn the fan on so it would suck the cool air in, and it really got nice. But I would wake up about 3 o'clock in the morning, I was freezing, and I had to shut the fan off and close the window. So it's high desert, it gets very cold at nighttime. So like Reno, Nevada is the same way. But and Travis was well aware that it was going to get very cold very quickly, but 6 degrees, oh my gosh. And that would definitely mess with batteries, but why not all of them? Why not more of them? You got 230
also,
here.
You're saying that they did a show in was it Boston, you said? At New Year's?
I'm not sure. Oh no, Austin, Texas.
Austin. Oh, I thought it was Boston.
No, I saw one that they did up in Toronto.
I'm just thinking like cold places at New Year's. They're doing shows in the cold. They've got to be insulated to some degree.
Yeah, and I would think that they would these guys, if they thought that was a concern, like, hey, maybe it's the cold, I have enough faith by now that they would have shown that on TV of like, hey, it's too cold for our drones, but they never said that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I think they would have been good enough to actually had admitted that
you'd probably want to explain it, right? Like,
exactly.
Mhm.
Don't worry, we're not incompetent.
Yeah, we said that before. These guys have a reputation with their drone shows, and you're not going to want to come out to Skinwalker Ranch and present to the world that your drone show, it could be flawed by things not working correctly, that maybe you don't have your act together as well as you think you do. They're not going to want to show that to the world. They're going to want to have a flawless show that they're putting on, and that's basically what they were doing, because that's what was happening in this picture here. We have the drones now assembling into a cube, so that they could they wanted to go into a cube formation so that they could see right over the anomalous area, or they could see anything that might change or present itself, which it really didn't, other than the battery drain and the GPS is going crazy. And then you've got when they go lined up like this, that was really
so
cool.
I love these shots.
It really was. It was a great shot. It's what I used on the thumbnail for the show tonight, because I just love these shots. And then of course you got
there you go
on the ground.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I think the cameraman, somebody must have been laying on the ground with him, because there's in the camera shots looking directly up into him. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't. He could have just been holding it up and shooting it that way. But I had a feeling that one of the guys was with the camera was laying on the ground with him, to get that shot. But yeah, there they are. And that's one of the smaller, that's when they're just now starting to get into that assembly of a cube. But then like you said, you started seeing that the 10 of them coming down, immediately, but they were able to still assemble the cube and get that all done. I don't know and it didn't look like, and when they did the cube, that there was any holes in it. I don't know if any of them, maybe it just didn't appear that way with 10 of them out of 240 some. I don't know if they ever got all 250 up. I don't think they did. At one time, I know there was 5 that didn't go up initially, but I don't know on this final one if they started with 240 or so or what. But,
can you imagine having to literally tote around 250 drones and then set them up?
Yeah. No, I can't.
Oh my gosh. Like, they had to literally set these drones out.
Make sure each one's charged. Make sure each one's turned on and connected to the GPS and Wi-Fi.
And then when they were done at the end of the night, they still had to pack it all up.
Yeah.
Like, that is that must have been just so much work.
Yeah, there's the cube right there. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's incredible.
That's awesome. And it was turning. And once they got it up there, they had it rotate, because they were trying to see if anything changed from the anomaly going on. What a and again, you go back to the whole neighbors thing, and this is happening at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, or later, 3 o'clock in the morning. We don't know for sure. But you talk about the neighbors thing again, and the day I would have been up. I don't care if it would have been during a weeknight or not. I'd have been up watching the show from wherever I was.
Yeah, no helicopters on this night. This is the night that I would have shown up to be like, cool, you guys got the space cannons, you got the drones. Let me fly around and check this light show out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And again, they keep having, and talking about the rockets, as the rockets went up again. Now, again, this is one of those things that I have been around a few rockets, but this was years and years ago. When you make your own rockets, a lot smaller than these, of course. But when you make those rockets, and this whole thing about when they launched them, and you out there, and this is where I have to refer back to the guys, and not only to the team, but also to Lock Precision. Because of the fact that they're talking about how they veer off right after launch. As soon as they launch, they're veering off, going right and left.
Not just
world, and they went right past each other as they go up, and then they go back to go straight again. But for that first 0 to 50 feet, they're taking an odd trajectory, and then they kind of straighten out.
Yeah, and no consistency to the way they veer off either.
No.
Right. At one point, they the Lock Precision guys said that they all seemed to deflect at 31 feet.
Yeah.
So that was what the constant was then.
Mm-hmm. Whether it was going south, north, east, west, they were all going different directions, but
Yeah.
all that same.
Like that right there.
Oh, what a great grab, Jeff.
See, this picture right there tells so much of it because you see what's happening. These two are, this one's veering off and going off in a weird, even these ones in the background, this one, and that's if you look at that line right here where they start to veer off, and I would say that's
whoa, and
about
dramatically
30 feet above the ground, because right here they're straight. They're all relatively straight right here. And I would say that's pretty close to being about 30 feet above the ground.
That's a dramatic veering off course without any sort of like explanation for it. I'd seen it on the show and go by. You think, I think I saw something. Yeah, it happens so fast. Seeing it like this, where you can see the trail,
yeah,
and you kind of see the laser through the smoke trail. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And are there two? Are we seeing two rockets?
There's
two
four
smoke trails.
There's four in this picture.
Oh snap! We are seeing four.
These two are up here already. So these are two right here, and that's the line right there. And you've got these two back here that are here and here that launched a few seconds late. Again, they're on the same wire, so why would that happen? But these launched these two back here. So you got four going up. But look at the line right here where they all started to change. Now, because you can sit there and say that, at 30 feet or so, they're all going wacky. But when they're happening so fast, you don't really get to see that. I grabbed this picture because now you're seeing that.
Yep.
I would dig 30 feet below right there. See if there's anything there.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, look at that line. I mean, they're all straight until they get to this point right here. Why? Why? I don't know. It leaves it leaves me boggled. Again, it goes back to what Travis always said. There's something about that 30 feet in the air right there that's causing some weird stuff. The last thing that happened on the episode was this right here. And this, well, not the last thing, second to last thing that happened on the show was this right here. And this one really kind of, again, it's one of those things that kind of blows my mind because this was the line of UAP. And I'm going to call it UAP because we don't know what the heck they were, that took off or that was spotted on the FLIR. And it looked like, at first you heard Caleb say it looked like a line. And then all of a sudden you could see the individual ships or whatever it was, the individual portions or pieces. I'm going to zoom this in again real quick. I keep popping this out because Michelle keeps covered up by the chat messages.
You have to go like this, Michelle.
Yeah. Usually it's me, Michelle, and I have to be like,
yeah.
I'm still here.
But you can see the different ones here. This is not a great clip or a great shot, but you can see the different pieces to it right here. And so, but I do have a clip of this as well. But as they came across, they all came. And how many times have we seen that before where you see an orb and all of a sudden you see it split into two or three, or some are coming down off the main orb or something. Here you see the 4 or 5 of them. It looked like 4 or 5. And as they're going across the sky, they come together into one. Now, is that a perspective of the way they were looking at them? They were just lined up that way or what? Go ahead, please.
So it's really funny. I was thinking about this week with the congressional hearing in combination with watching this episode, specifically just you watch this episode and you see this giant red cube of drones. And I joke about how drones can be like, how will we ever find out if there's a UFO? Because drones can mimic anything. But then you hear separately these descriptions of things that people see. And something that we've heard kind of consistently in the narrative is like a cube inside of this, inside of a sphere. And I started thinking about the fact that who knows if we're talking about an actual thing, the sphere could very easily be like a turn on, turn off thing. And it just made me think the game of Tetris, how these cubes sort of fit together to make any type of shape, and how convenient it would be for a craft. And so when you're talking about orbs or whatever we're seeing becoming one and then becoming several, or then going back to one, it does make me think about how sort of that cube shape being able to take many different forms or have several different versions of it. I thought it's actually quite coincidental that the same week that this thing came up in the hearing about the red cube coming out of the ocean or whatever, it's the same exact week that we also have a red cube of lights over the ranch in the episode. Which
Quite
I'm not,
coincidental.
it is quite coincidental. And all it did is make me think about, because obviously you're thinking about like all the possibilities when you keep hearing these consistent descriptions of things. Like, well, what would be the purpose of that shape specifically? And what types of behaviors do we see that would even make sense with? And so it's interesting when you think about it kind of in a very simple way, when you're thinking about literally something as simple as like the game of Tetris and how like these cubes make different shapes and they all fit together or whatever.
That's a great point.
That taking something that simple, that concept of being that simple, and applying it to maybe some of these other things that we're seeing or hearing about being a very consistent feature. And now we've seen on the show too, as far as like the line of lights that are like one, and then there's a whole line of them. I don't know. It just made me I think the combination of the drone show and like the descriptions in the congressional hearing, which is stuff that we consistently kind of hear those descriptions. That's not a new description to hear the cube of some kind with like this thing around it. But
no, I like what you're saying about the Tetris pieces and like how, they all form together and they're one thing, and then you can split them up into different pieces. It reminds me too of like how on, I forget which Terminator, but it's the one where like the scary cop Terminator is chasing him and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's like this weird metallic liquid, right?
Yeah, they've been able to do that though recently.
Yeah, they cut that metallic liquid into different parts, and it can still turn into its own shape, and it's almost like each part shares a consciousness as well.
Have you seen that though?
Operate separately and then regroup. I
haven't seen that. Yeah.
Recently in the like last year, there's been science that and they used basically like a Lego figure size thing and like jail bars, how it's this material that they've been able to make that's behind the bars, and then I don't know if it's programmed or whatever, and then it can literally melt and come out and then reshape. And they compared it to that from Terminator.
Yeah, Jim had it. T2. Yeah, Terminator 2.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know.
I hadn't seen that, Shannon. Did you?
I'll have to find it and I'll post it, because this video has been going around. It was in the news probably about, I don't know. It's been in the last year. It's not recent. It's in the last like, I don't know, 8 or 9 months. It was some sort of, I think I'm almost certain it was like they used the illustration of a Lego figure. And then, you see this stuff and you're like, that's scary. It's cool, but it's real scary. I feel like the coolest things are also really scary things.
They are. Technology modern technology is very scary.
So imagine if that material was like Tetris blocks in the sky. I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, I have no idea. I'm going off of everything that I have to try to, any of us do, maybe not all of us, but like we draw conclusions based on the limited secondhand, third-hand data that we are given.
Yeah.
So
that's a good reason why, like, I say a lot of things, right? And then like a month later, I might be saying something entirely differently. But I mean, in that month, maybe I learned a lot of things from like, oh, maybe I realized the opinion or the things that I was building that thought on maybe weren't as credible as I thought. Or, I feel like with this topic, it's like you said, we're operating on what we know and we really don't know much. And then like,
exactly.
It's weird waters to try and swim through. And
that's why I never say anything with certainty, because it's like, how would I possibly know? I can't possibly know anything. Like the people that like have had better access, better data on it, they still probably don't fully know. They might know they certainly know a lot more than I do, but I definitely have no idea.
Yeah, Kat, I brought that up on a couple of shows ago about the
It was Jeff. I DM'd Seth and I was like, do you remember when you brought up Flight of the Navigator? And he was like, I don't. I was like, but you did. Was that you, Jeff?
Yeah,
Jeff,
I was
it
like,
you
did I?
I did. Yeah, I brought that up. Yeah.
Oh my
talking about
gosh.
that. Yeah, because
I
the
love
ship would
that
change
movie.
shapes. Yeah, oh, it's a fantastic movie. I loved it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once you're in it, you can like see out the outside.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
nothing's there.
Remember
Cool.
on Contact when Jodie Foster was in the ship and it was going through the wormhole, you could see through it. Everything that was happening. Oh yeah, cool stuff. Anyway, Renee brought up the point too. Looking at this picture here, real quick, about this level that I was pointing across is about the same level where the guys from Blazing Bear saw a shadow figure on the mesa. So think, I don't know. Is that a correlation? Is it similar to? I don't know. But that's a great thought there too. That's why I love the chat, because you guys are coming up with some great stuff here. All right, we got to move along here. We're getting close to the 2-hour mark, and I want to wrap it up. Going back here, this is again looking at the rockets as they were launching, and you can see those multiple pieces of that, UAP, several UAPs flying, as Eric said, flying in formation. There they are there, and it looks like there's 5 of them. I don't know, 4 or 5 in that picture there. Yeah, there's 4 or 5 of them, and then they all come together as one. And again, as you guys were just explaining, that's to me is just so amazing. I don't know what to make of that. I mean, I really don't. I mean, it's for them guys to capture this the way they did. And we've seen videos on TV and stuff talking about those sort of things, but yet, to see that happening like that is just amazing.
Yeah, and like they still couldn't see that in the naked with their eyes. It was
no, they went out and tried
only on the FLIR.
Yeah. And then what's the last thing that happens? They get the mega the pups are cracking me up too.
The puppies are excited. They know.
It's okay. So they get the very last, the big rocket, the one they've been saving for the end.
It goes 10,000 feet, and what speed does it reach?
1.5. Yeah, exactly. Mach
which
1.
is 1,150.9 miles per hour.
Oh,
wow.
So let me ask you the question, because we know what happened with that rocket. And if you were part of the...
Yeah, Michelle's right.
Well, we don't know what happened. We know that it has yet to be found. And if you guys were insiders and you were, I mean, well, as of the end of the show.
Yeah,
now we're going to see one more. We're going to see one more episode coming up next week. The finale, the finale of the season next week. And we saw this right here. Dun dun dun. To be continued.
They should have said stay tuned.
I mean, this thing launched 10,000 feet at Mach 1.5, and you saw it launch off. I mean, it just took off, and they're like, "Anybody see a shoot? Anybody see the shoot deploy? Anybody see it? Hey, Thomas, get those night vision goggles and look for that thing."
Nothing.
No FLIR, no pop for the shoot. No, they didn't hear anything, see anything, nothing. Where did it go?
Went into the mirror universe of Skinwalker Ranch, where all of the missing things are.
Yes, exactly. We're at some point now. I was going to speculate about going into the anomaly and actually being able to activate the portal.
Yeah, they opened it
to another place. Is the speed affected? Do you have to be traveling at
88 miles per hour?
88. Yes,
I'm sorry,
exactly, with your flux capacitor, but I don't know that they had a flux capacitor, but maybe they did. I don't know. You got her.
Well, I was watching Seth, and you could tell he was like thinking. He was like really deep in thought, and then it graduated to that with such enthusiasm. Sorry, it's very funny.
1811 Steve, that I asked that, somebody else asked that question, and I thought the same thing. If you're going past the speed of sound, would it not make the sonic boom, or what's I don't know. What creates that sonic boom? I'm not intelligent enough to know that in that area. I don't know. So why wouldn't they have heard a sonic boom when that thing broke the sound barrier? I mean, does it happen?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They may have, and it
Yeah.
may have just not been, the sound may not have been appropriate.
Oh,
Their sensors. So, they could have edited that sound out so that it didn't overwhelm everything.
Yeah, well, just think about watching it on a television and having your like volume at a certain thing, and then having like a giant sound too. I'm sure they had to like level stuff out.
Yeah,
just from like an editing perspective.
I've had a plane fly right in front of me and hit the sound barrier right in front of me. You feel it.
Oh wow!
And there's nothing else you can hear when it hits right there.
Wow,
that
would almost be
beautiful and amazing, but it's overwhelming.
Yeah, Jeff, to your point of almost being dangerous, like didn't they think that humans couldn't survive breaking the sound barrier? And
at one time,
Pete Yeager,
at one point,
Pete Yeager the first one to do it? Like until he did it, they weren't entirely sure. But even before, was it Chuck Yeager?
Chuck Yeager, yeah.
Thank you. What did I say, Pete?
You said Pete.
It was Chuck Yeager. Yeah, like until him, people didn't think, humans can't go that fast. Our organs will. And then what? Now we're breaking Mach. I don't know. When you see those videos of the skin going back. Yeah.
As long as they do it gradually, yes.
Yeah.
Trying to go from 0 to Mach 1.5 would.
That's a good point.
You turn your body to jelly, I think, or something like that. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the thing is, where did that thing end up? We don't know. I keep imagining that there's some guy over in Ireland and he keeps having these things show up in his backyard, a rocket, these black medicine balls showing up in his backyard, everything that's gone missing.
The bottle with the ribbon on it.
Yes, the bottles. He's like, who keeps flying over, dropping these things in my backyard, right? So
kids next door.
Yeah, he's blaming the neighbors. Yeah, exactly. Quit throwing stuff over that fence, because where are these things going? We don't know. So hopefully they'll find that rocket, but we just don't. We just don't know.
Mach 8. Wow.
Mach 8.
Thanks, Susan.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, if we could just travel faster than the speed of light.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, nothing. That'll be that. Again, it's one of those things that's like really cool and also really frightening at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes. Now, next week's show. Next week's show, you saw the anomalies that we were looking at tonight. And here's one of them right there. Looking at it with some of Eric Bard's awesome equipment that he has. That's I would assume, again, I'm making an assumption based upon what I'm seeing with these lines of the different temperature lines in the background from the FLIR. But I think this is one of the anomalies, the first one that we saw that was traveling by pretty quickly that I showed on the little video.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was that was the multiple ones that as it was coming together into one. Remember, as it was moving across, and I do have a clip of this, but it was moving together into one at the end, and I think that's these. So will we get another look at these next week in the wrap-up? I think we will. I hope we will.
I do too.
Yeah, we could very well see that. So, there's a lot of one thing I didn't talk about tonight, and I just found the sound. Remember when they were playing the Blazing Bear recording and they were putting it through the laser lights, and there was that droning sound?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
Yeah. The interference.
Yeah.
Interference.
What do you have on your notes on that, Michelle?
Let's see. So they had the projection laser with Blazing Bear audio and the green raster lasers. They start playing it, but there's a loud hum and a signal is interfering, overwhelming the chant. And then afterwards is where they did the staggered launch. And then they launched 2 and then 2 more. And then they said, wait, do we have an airplane to the north? It's on the FLIR. And so that's the one, that appeared in the middle of the screen 100 feet approximately over the mesa. And they were like, that's the one we should be able to see because that should be an airplane. And it wasn't an airplane.
Right.
There was nothing visually that they could see.
Interesting. I hadn't thought about it until hearing you explain in your notes, Michele, about how seemed like it almost I'm going to speculate that it was purposefully overwhelming the chant.
Same thought, Seth.
Did not want it. I didn't catch that the first time watching it.
It was the way that she phrased it. Made it click. Like, oh, very interesting.
Yeah. Because when they first started playing it, you could hear the chant. And the sound started getting louder, overwhelming it.
Yes.
And then it almost completely drowned it out to where they just stopped playing it.
That's really, really interesting.
Now, why would somebody want to stop that chant from happening?
Well, considering it makes things glow.
Right. Exactly. They didn't want the wormhole to open or whatever it was, a wormhole, or I don't know what. They didn't want the ability for things to fly in and out of the mesa to happen at that moment so that it would be captured by all the cameras and all the stuff that they had going on. So they were blocking it with some sort of a sound.
I can't remember because I think we may have we went back to this, but when in the rocket launches did this sound play? Was it after they'd already done some, but before they did the big rocket that disappeared?
Yes. It was immediately before the
rocket. You mean it was immediately before the big rocket that disappeared?
Yeah.
The sound that they played and then the rocket disappeared.
Yeah, and the laser that was carrying the sound, they were shooting it on the mesa, right? Like just
they were aiming it at the mesa with lasers.
My goodness.
After that is when they did I have a whole sheet.
Please continue with that.
So then after they did all of that, one rocket didn't launch. So they decided to just reload the pad. And then it was time for the lasers, drones, and rockets. All drones were on and ready. The drums were playing through the laser. Drones were up. There were 5 holes, but there should have only been 2 that didn't go up. So they didn't know why there were 5 holes in the launch.
Right.
And then more of them started dropping and losing power. Travis then decided to go lay on the ground, and then that's where we're at. So
okay, that's really interesting.
I like what Kat said, where she said it's like turning up your own radio to drown out the neighbors, or they were like, And then did y'all see what Lurker said about his dog's reaction to it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Leapt up and made an aggressive rush to the door.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I actually recorded that, but I wasn't ready to I forgot to get it ready to pull over, but I made a recording of that. But it was a weird droning sound that was background to that. And it was drowning out the chant. It really was. And so, or not the chant, but the drum, the song. And that's a great. I'm so glad that you read that, because that I think you're exactly right. They were drowning it out to prevent something from happening.
Like a rocket disappearing.
Yeah, like the rocket disappearing.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's very weird.
Will they ever find that rocket? I don't know. Well, I mean, continued. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, any final thoughts on this particular episode? I do have the EQ drowning out with the high pass filter. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they need Jim on the ranch. They need a sound engineer.
Yes. Yeah, Jim, you got yeah. Good point. Good point. So we're going to find out now. Coming up next week, of course, we'll do our show next week. We got Beyond Skinwalker Ranch for Thursday night. We got Skinwalker or the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch on Friday night. These will be our season finale. The following week, they have a couple of, and a lot of you may have already known this. I just found out that they have on the 8th. There's going to be 2 extra shows. On the 8th of August, they're going to do a kind of a recap of the Beyond Skinwalker Ranch and a recap of the Skinwalker Ranch, the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. At some point, we will do a recap, a seasonal recap of our own, and I'm going to ask all of you guys that are here tonight if you want to be part of that, and kind of recap the season at some point. We don't have to make it a full 2-hour show, but I kind of want to cover all that we saw throughout the season, and we can kind of go from what they said. Another interesting thing that happened that I want to tell you all about before everybody checks out of here was that last night, Seth and Jim and I were actually doing the Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, and I had said something during the show that I was hoping to John Redbird Dover and Stanley Milford, where they are. I had said something on the show last night about how I would love to have John on the show. Well, John contacted me today.
I know.
They are not on social media, neither of them, for reasons of, to stay out of that sort of thing. John contacted me today, and he's coming on the show.
Well, if you need another person there, I will be very quiet. I'll just sit in the corner.
Yeah, so we're gonna have John Dover and Stan Milford coming on the show, and I want to make this. We're not gonna sit here and discuss about Beyond Skinwalker Ranch. Probably not. The thing I want to have them on for is to hear from them and their experiences, their backgrounds, and the things that they've been doing.
Cool.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, Jeff, you're doing what isn't that what we were saying last night? We're like, these guys deserve their own show on Netflix, on the History Channel, and they definitely deserve their own JFree show for sure.
Oh,
and you better add me into this.
It's amazing that you're willing to sacrifice yourself like this, Shannon.
I know.
I know. It's an enormous sacrifice, but I'm willing to do it, even though I was not asked to.
No, you're right.
But I will find a way.
We will get this worked out. So
I will wear you down.
So August 17th, we are going to have this show, and we're going to have them both on. And it, like I said, this is to talk about them and to let them. My thing is that I want to get light the fuse and let them go, because I tell you what, I was on the phone with John today for about an hour and a half.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they told, and he told me some things that are just, and I think there was at one point that I said to John, this is exciting and terrifying all at the same time. The things that
it's like Shannon's been saying, right? All the cool things are kind of scary.
So I was like, oh, that's Pete's birthday. Okay, August 17th. Well, there you go. Happy birthday on August 17th, because that's what we're going to do. So I am excited, beyond excited, to have them on the show. So we will, that's going to be great. I can't wait for that one. So
that's awesome.
John Dover and Stanley Milford will be on the show with us. And so I'm really excited, as you can tell. But we will do a recap of both, of the shows coming up. So at some point, we don't have it scheduled. It'd probably be somewhere around the 10th or the 11th, something like that. Once we get this all figured out. And it's kind of silly. I thought about, well, do we do a recap of a recap, or do we just do a recap of the finales, or do we do our own little recap of the season? So we'll figure something out. We'll get it put together, and we'll let everyone know. And sit with anticipation, just hear what they have to say during Phenomicon. Man, I'm excited.
Exciting times.
I can't wait to get to Phenomicon. I really can't. I'm really looking forward to that one. So, final thoughts on this particular episode? Did you think it was another amazing one? This, like I said when we started tonight, this season has been absolutely amazing. I think these guys are getting so very close to nailing down what's there and being able to detect it. And by the way, and those of you who donated to the, you helped support the show, and many of you said, get that tri-field meter ordered. I ordered it today. So the tri-field meter is on the way. And yes, thank you to those of you that want, PayPal is up there. But yeah, so the tri-field meter is on the way. I'm supposed to have it on, it said it's going to arrive on Sunday, I guess here in the big cities. Things FedEx or Amazon will actually deliver on the weekend. So
many day of the week.
Yeah, where I was in Michigan, that doesn't happen. No, Monday through Friday if you're lucky, maybe Saturday, but yeah. So the tri-field meter is on the way, and I cannot wait to get that thing. So thank you all for who helped with that. I appreciate it very, very much. So all right. And I said final thoughts, and then I started talking again. So I'm sorry about that. Did you?
Hey, no worries. It's your show.
I know. I'm sorry. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here with us tonight. We are at the 2-hour mark, and I got to wrap it up.
Are you guys hearing that weird squeaking sound?
Yes, I am.
It's a toy. I promise. The dogs are chewing.
Sure, it is.
Toy.
They like the squeak. Do they tear out the squeaky until it's or play with it until the squeakies tore out and then they're done with it? Is that how that works with them too? I know other dogs that do that.
Yeah.
This
one's actually like a big, like a hard rubber toy. And then which one is it? It's in the shape of a big ruby.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, it's
right.
the newest one. So they've been fighting over it. As opposed to the other 137 toys that they have. Right.
Well, if one is interested in it, then that means I got to be interested in it too, right? So that's
yeah. I'm sorry for the noises.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, I love having the addition to the show, and then we get Seth's little son shows up now and then. And we hear him from time to time. I know, right? Yeah. And Shannon's got her cat that makes an appearance every now and then. So that's all.
And Shannon has her cat.
Well,
no, we love
storms and everything else going on in the background. But anyway. All right, folks, let's wrap it up. But thank you all so very much for being here with us tonight. And we hope you will tune in again next week on Thursday for Beyond Skinwalker Ranch and Friday for The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. And don't forget about the 17th. All right. So again,
I won't.
You're not going to let me forget either.
Nope.
All right. Again, thank you all so much. You have a great rest of your week and the weekend that is starting right now. And we'll catch you next time right here on the JFree906 podcast. Good night, everyone.
Good night.